There's a really important thing in fighting games. It's playing other characters to get other points of view. And Steven, who's with us today, by the way, everybody, hey, a round of applause for Steven.
Yeah, Steven JP Main Chavez.
Yes.
Yeah, Steven JP has been playing JP because, one, he hates the character with a burning passion. I liken him to, you know how like every time you're talking with a vegan, they have to bring the fact that they're a vegan around from, all off-ramps lead to that. That's Steven with JP right now. If we talk about Street Fighter 6, all off-ramps lead to JP is overpowered or privileged in some way. But he's doing the homework, and he's playing the character so that he can see from both points of view. He's been playing against a lot of JPs because they're all over the place, and because both John and I play them. Well, Steven's been getting from the other point of view, and it's opened his eyes and made him realize that most of his complaints were unwarranted, right, Steven?
Absolutely, and Mexican aliens exist now, so we're not going to talk about that yet. Absolutely.
Is JP a Mexican alien? That's the real question. So.
That's in the news right now for those of you that don't know. Yeah. But no, Steven, can you expand on that? What have your explorations yielded?
Yeah, firstly, I just want to say, JP being OP, broken, all that stuff, that's not really my stance. My stance is more that character is incredibly privileged, and it's a little bit tough to hear JP players say some things about that character when I play low-tier Lily, and you go, yeah, you don't understand how hard that is in comparison to playing JP. So for me, it was, hey, let's run an experiment. Let's actually play JP, since that was one of the things that was said to me of like, hey, you don't play the character you don't fully know. I said, okay, I'll play him. Challenged myself to get to master rank with him. Did it in 2 sessions. It was incredibly easy, and everything I thought about that character.
How many hours that roughly was?
Maybe like 6 hours.
I looked at his matches. It
like
took him about, because he had a 76% win rate on there,
yes,
which is really good, just so everyone knows. And then it was about 200 matches. I think it was like 220 or something is what it came out to. Maybe it was less than that, because maybe that was your Marissa.
No, it was 170 something matches.
There you go.
I think I won like 136 or something like that.
Yeah. You also got Marissa to
CFN Stalker.
Yeah, Marissa to master and other stuff. So yeah, I got to shout that out. So
How long did she take, by the way?
That was definitely more like 5-ish days, maybe a week, and my win rate with her was like 65.77, so quite a bit less. It was quite a bit more difficult to get her to master.
Yeah, like 9 or 10% less.
It's pretty significant when it comes to the win rates in this game, for sure.
But so the JP experience, how are the privileges?
Oh, he's got it everywhere. He's jam-packed with privilege. It's pretty incredible. Again, coming from playing a character like Lily, where her basic stuff takes so much work to make it actually function. Playing JP, it was pretty much just, I'm going to do what I want to do, and if that doesn't work, if that drops, I have 10 other things that I'm going to fall back on that will likely work. And they did. I mean, it was pretty wild.
So we had this conversation on Monday, and Steven was telling us a little bit about his adventures with JP and getting to master rank, and then so I had a half day, both Monday and Tuesday. So with the second halves of my half day, I decided to pick up Lily so I could just see what this lack of privilege was like. And so I didn't spend actually much time at all in training. I went to training initially thinking I'm going to spend a couple hours here. I'm going to watch some videos. But then I realized her standing heavy punch was amazing. And I realized that it's really easy to get wind stocks, and that standing heavy punch goes into the wind stock, which is also a comboable thing. And if you do it at the right range, it's not really punishable, and it's great. So her neutral made me feel confident enough, that paired with good anti-air, DP, or Crouching Fierce, that I could just go in and start playing ranked. And I did. I won, I think, 7 of my placement matches, put me into Diamond at 1900 or 19,000 LP. And I've been grinding with her. I probably put probably 4 or 5 hours into it now, and I think I'm around 20, somewhere in 22 or 23,000 LP with her. But I gotta say that I think, yeah, Lily's a lower tier character for sure, and we've already talked about that plenty in other episodes recently. But man, she has got tools for days that are effective and fun. They are engaging to use. It is fun to juggle them and use one and then see someone adapt and then use another. And John, it looked like you were kind of rolling your eyes a little bit there.
Oh,
is that the case? And would you like to say something about Lily and her tool set?
I would not like to say anything, but I would love to hear what Steven has to say to that. Steven, why don't you respond?
I'm chomping at the bit. I'm chomping at the bit right now. So already first of all, Standing heavy punch into Windclad Strike is definitely
Can get
punishable.
DI'd.
You can get DI'd straight up. There's enough of a gap there. You can get DI'd between Crouching Heavy Punch and Windclad Strike. Her Standing Heavy Punch is definitely good, but I think Crouching Heavy Punch is better. Just for as a poke and range and what it does. You can confirm off of that a lot easier. Also have been stalking your CFN and watching some of your replays. Some of the stuff that you were doing that I've been mentioning about Lily and how easy it is to, stop that stuff and punish it, you were getting cracked with that stuff pretty hard. Things like OD Windclad Spire getting DI'd from close range. I mean, you were getting hit by some of that stuff, and I'm like...
You've been stalking my CFN as well?
Oh, of course. Yeah, you're playing Lily, finally. I mean, I've been saying this since day one. I'm like, please play another character so you understand, and now you're playing it. Of course I'm watching those replays. And just like to point out...
I guess I should check out some of yours, yes. I don't know what my win rate is. What is my win rate?
It's 65.63 right now.
Ah, hey, that's pretty good with the low tier character.
I mean, sure.
I don't even know full punishes.
I didn't need to know full punishes with JP.
No, so some of my takeaways here are that, yes, I would still, please know that I'm still saying JP is a high tier character. I put him in the top 5. Lily is a lower tier character. Bottom 5, but after playing her, I would not be surprised if tournament results eventually change, especially if Capcom gives her the quality of life buffs that we think that she should have. Maybe an invincible DP, maybe, that might be a good thing, but certainly that her level 2 super should have the hitboxes that it deserves, that when she does make contact with you, that her combos work, as they seem to be intended to. You don't want a bunch of like missy stuff. But with that, I think that immediately puts her at mid-tier, if not a little bit better, if she gets those quality of life changes. I do think she's got a very...
Yeah. I was gonna say, I agree, but she doesn't have that stuff right now, and that's basically what it's been. Again, it's not a call to, hey, buff Lily, make her the best in the game. It's can you please fix this stuff so it works and we can actually do this consistently. That's the biggest thing I've always kind of said about Lily. And then again, going to JP, it's like everything just works all the time. And it's like, okay, like...
What do you mean everything just... Can you expand upon that? Like, what does that mean?
I can expand upon it if I could jump in here.
No, go ahead.
Because when I switched over, I actually just went back and got Guile to master rank a little bit ago. I had to keep up with the Joneses over here, make sure I was putting in my time with alt characters. But so I switched over to JP about like 3 or 4 weeks in to Street Fighter 6's release date. And... I basically noticed that going from like Guile, like a bunch of like Guile's like combos in level 3 like don't work. For example, like his target combo with crouching medium punch like 2x like will miss randomly if you're not like really close and stuff, and a bunch of other things. Those really don't happen a lot with JP. Like JP generally can combo into everything from every range if you do it correctly. And when I was talking with DreamKing a lot with JP, it's basically like he has everything. It's like, well, does he have an overhead? It's like, yeah. Does he have like a long range sweep? Does he have a command grab? Does he have everything? And it's like, yeah, he does. Where most of the characters don't have everything, JP pretty much does. I'm finding a few holes in his game now, ironically, against Lily of all characters. I actually think she does fairly solidly in that matchup now. I've definitely revised my opinion on that one because of her projectile invincibility move is really good. And against a zoner, that's actually one of the top tools you want, is a projectile invincibility move that is plus on block and very good. But regardless, not that there's no counters, just that I'm a little shocked when I lab stuff with JP and I'm like, oh, I don't have a perfect counter to that does 70% of your health or whatever and stuff like that. It's a little hyperbole there, but anyway, that's what I mean when he has everything though. Coming from a character like Guile, or coming from a character who's a little lower tier, Guile is certainly fairly privileged in this in a lot of people's eyes. I think he's a little overrated, but that's what we mean when we say JP has everything, because it's hard to find stuff he's not great at.
Movement he's not very good at, and some of his, well, you've called him a technical character. You've called him the most technical character in the game.
I think so. I think he is, yeah. And this is only at high levels of play, though. As DreamKing was talking about here, and let's turn it right back over to Steven here. Steven, you said that this character was basically brain dead easy to get to master. Can you basically elucidate us on what you ran into there?
Yeah, it was tough for opponents to deal with basically all of his stuff, and I did find that because people are definitely labbing this match now, when I did find somebody who knew how to counter him, again, like I was saying before, fall back on the 10-15 other great tools he has, and then you're gonna hit something that they can't deal with. I had some moments where I was like at a pixel left in burnout, about to lose, threw out level 2 super raw, and was able to bring it back from like they had like 70% health. I was able to get in there and still mix it up and bring it back. A lot of characters, well, at least the low tier characters, don't have stuff like that. And again, it's this, when you play a low tier character, it's this constant battle of, is this even going to work? This is a basic thing. This is a combo into a super. This is a juggle. This is a whatever. And is it going to work properly? Do I need to be at the specific range where it does work? I have to be aware if this is going to drop because I'm just a hair too far out. Things like that with JP.
There are plenty of those instances with JP, with a lot of his combos, with making sure that you do the right level of special move for his juggles in the corner. There are certain, you have to delay thises and that's, and a lot of the juggling with his portals and whatnot, and they're still really good. And yes, if, like John said, I think you put it well, that you said once you know how to do it, it's a thing, that you just kind of routinely do it because you understand. But there's a lot to explore there, and there's a lot of places to miss stuff. And there's a lot of places to do the wrong level of the thing, or to, I need this one because of this situation, but not and get confused between the two. And I mean, I'm not the best player, but I drop JP stuff all day.
Yeah.
The big difference there, though, is that that's for his higher level stuff, for maximizing his punishes, for maximizing his juggles and all these things. Yes, of course, once you get into the weeds of it and get to that higher level, there's stuff like that you definitely have to consider. But his base level stuff, like, you can get away with so much on that it's like, again, take that level of what you're feeling with JP at that higher level of like, oh, like, I need to be aware of all this stuff, and now apply that to Lily, where it's, you need to do that just for her basic stuff, just for stuff to even function properly. That's a very big difference, and mainly what I'm kind of talking about here.
I actually feel a little more comfortable, at least in certain matchups, as Lily, because of the kit that she has and the zones that she controls. But if JP controls the further distant zones the best, and then we can talk also about his abilities in the neutral and such, which are not lacking. Lily's control in the mid-range with the range on her pokes, and then the pairing of the potential for her to Condor Spire in on reaction through fireballs if she's got a stock and meter, but also she's got a jump where she can do the Condor Spire and it changes her jump in arc. The fact that she makes you juggle all of those things at one time is very powerful. And we talked about why Ken's Jinrai is so strong, for instance. It's because you're not only worried about the Jinrai kick, but you're also worried about him drive rushing forward, jumping forward, dashing forward, or just playing neutral and footsies. Lily has that in a way that most other characters do not. And when she is successful, and I would say, if we're saying at the lower levels especially, you get in with these moves and people are not drive reversaling, they're not spending the meter to get out, and then she's in your face for, if she's hit you, great, that's whatever, and she goes into another win stock and we repeat the process. But if she hasn't and you block, she's in a situation where her pressure is scary, because you're either eating a 2,000 to 2,900 damage command grab, depending on if she uses the OD version or not. But if she tags you with even a jab there, that's a drive rush combo into a level 3 or a level 1, depending on the situation in the meter, or right back into that situation again with her into the neutral where she's good at. My point is not to say that makes her a top tier, but she can play that game very effectively, and when you are in that situation, it feels very similar to when you are, say, full screen against JP and he has his natural advantage. And I say all of that too, and I'll turn this right back over to you, Steven, if you have any responses to it, to say that Capcom has tied a nice bow on enunciating characters' good danger zones, so to speak, where they excel, and making it feel like, if a character excels here, this is where they're the scariest. And she absolutely feels that way, both from defending against her and playing as her, and it's a very fun and engaging process.
Yeah, so I will point out straight away that from the jump here, what you said there was like, she can do this stuff if she has a win stock, if she has meter.
She can get win stocks very easily, too, by the way. And JP's, a lot of his stuff requires that he has meter.
You have full meter from the start, dude. I mean, and you don't even need OD meter to lock people down full screen with JP stuff, or his normals. Like, you don't need a lot of that stuff. But a lot of what you were saying with Lily there is, if this scenario works out, then you could be in a good position. And also, well, if you get a jab, you get a drive rush combo. That's 3 bars right there. OD Windspire is 2 bars. And against a character like JP that can force you into burnout and lock you down full screen, that stuff is much more important to manage. It's not just hey, I can just get win stocks whenever and go in and do whatever. There's a lot of work just to get that basic gameplay out, is the point. With JP, you don't need any of that stuff. You can get by on standing heavy punch and juggles and full screen zoning, and yes, you can use meter to pepper that stuff in or to maximize, but he doesn't need that to get his base level stuff out.
One thing I want to jump in here with and just state is that I've been playing a good amount, and we're going to talk about this more. We're all Master Rank players here, and I've been playing a good amount of JP and Master Rank at the highest levels of running across tournament players. Like, look through the results. Those are the people I'm playing. The game is very different from when you first get to Master Rank, like you're going through the diamonds and other stuff, to when you are an established Master Rank player, which all three of us here are. I want to double check. Is that a fairly fair statement here? Is that a...
It's actually sort of one of my points in another segment that we're going to do today. So yes.
Okay. Steven, do you agree with that?
Yep.
Okay. Wanted to make sure. And so there's a differential here that when we're talking about ranking up a character versus an established person like Lily, Steven is an established Master Rank Lily player. He's played her like 5,000 matches, something around there. I don't know. I'd have to double check here. I think I've got the screenshot in front of me. But he's definitely played Lily a lot. Looks like 2,000 matches. There we go. Should get that correctly.
51,000 LP, I think.
So the game does change a bit there when you are playing against people who actively know how to shut down your best stuff. Like, I played Lily, 300 times. I know you're going to go for this in this scenario, and I'm going to shut that down. I'm going to completely limit your ability to do that. When you're getting to Master Rank, there's not a lot of people who know how to do that stuff super actively. And I just wanted to say there's a pronounced difference there when we're going over that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we even started that whole thing with at lower levels, it's different than higher levels and certain like combos and situations and what's required to do well with these characters and such. So I think that was a bit implied. And I think we could sit here all day and go through the particulars of an advantage in certain situations or versus in certain moves for each character and go through. My wider point is, again, against the backdrop of Lily's not the best character and JP is a top fiver, that I really do still appreciate the balance in this game. I feel like as a Lily player, I can contend in a way that, well, with a lot of what I was hearing was not the case. I thought, man, this character is just like a throwaway, and I don't think that's the case with her. I don't think that's the case with Zangief. I think you could make the best case right now for Manong, but I haven't played as her, and so I don't even want to say that. So yeah, she could use a handful of little buffs, quality of life, but I think that they made the character that they wanted to make, and that's true for most of these characters. And yeah, so but it has been eye-opening playing, and now when I play against her, one, I'm gonna know some things that I like, some holes that to take advantage of in her gameplay and her pressure sequences and whatnot. And also, it's actually been a lot of fun. And it's sometimes for some people, grabbing a new character feels like this mountainous task that you just don't want to go through. It's like, I don't want to start from the beginning. I don't want to lose. I don't have to go through all of the dropped combos and this and that. But as soon as something comes together and it clicks for you, and you can use two moves to juxtapose with one another to make a little bit of a game plan, and then it just expands from there. The process is fun, man. That's a huge part of why we play these games, and it broadens your view of the whole game. It makes you better at that matchup. So I very much encourage everybody that's watching right now, if you got another character that you're kind of juggling around, just mess around with them. Just play some casuals with them.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
Especially if you're really struggling in one matchup. And I know there's a bunch of people out here who are watching this who are, silver rank or gold rank or whatever. And the goal shouldn't be for you guys to get yourself to master at that point in time. There's nothing wrong with you being silver or gold rank or wherever you're at. Just try to level up in your own vacuum, in your own personal thing. Like, we're the three of us here, we're not trying to go after Daigo or something like that. We're not trying to be like, oh, we're better than Daigo and other things. We've got other work to do. We're journalists. We have other jobs to do.
Steven said he was better than Daigo yesterday.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
I think that's after he got off the alien spaceship. But yeah.
So, that was an alien transmission I received. So.
But anyway, if you're trying to level up, just compare yourself to yourself and try to level up in that regard. But we do highly recommend trying other characters out, especially if you're very frustrated by them. You will find other holes in there, and you'll find things that they potentially don't do as well as maybe you thought they did once you go through that.
Any final thoughts, Steven?
Yeah, I will just add on to that and say that the playing multiple characters thing has been a big thing that I've preached for a very long time. to understand these games better. It's nice to kind of put yourself in other characters' shoes and kind of experience what it feels like to actually play them. Things can feel very different when you fight these characters, but when you play as them, you get a better understanding of like, oh, this is what it actually takes to do this stuff and to get this stuff going. So it's very eye-opening, and I highly recommend that for everybody. Again, the goal isn't, hey, I need to become the best player with this other character. Just spend a week with them. Go do their trials, do their tutorials, go into ranked, see what it feels like for about a week and get that experience. It's super valuable.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that bit of Street Fighter 6 banter from that episode of Talk and Block. If you'd like to see more like it, you can right here. And if you'd like to see the whole episode once it goes live, it'll appear right here.